Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Gross. I'm the founder of AI Workforce Alliance. I've been using generative AI since 2020, and I have now implemented AI across 11 contracts ranging from mid-market to enterprise-size companies. And today I'm here to answer your 10 burning questions that I've been asked over and over and over again. So I'm really, really excited about this video because I know, I know that these questions are very popular. And so I'm hoping that once I put this out, a lot more people feel safe enough to start asking questions because I've kind of noticed this trend that I want to nip in the butt where people feel like everyone else has it figured out, so they don't feel safe asking questions because they just think they're basic and silly. And I promise you, everybody has the same exact questions. And just because one person doesn't have the same questions or they look like they have it all figured out and they're a little bit further ahead than you are, it doesn't really mean anything. It just means that they have a different set of skills. And if you think about it, that's people in general. Everybody can't be good at everything. We all have our special skills. So, long story short, I'm happy this video is out. No question is a silly question. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first question that I get constantly is, what skills do I need to become an AI consultant? Again, I'm just going to throw this out here as a disclaimer. And I think that really we should be thinking about this for everybody that we listen to. This is my opinion. It is not a fact. It is my opinion based on my personal experience. Please take this with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that this is the only way to look at this, okay? Do your own research for everybody that you listen to. And that goes for any topic, not just generative AI. What skills do you need to become an AI consultant? Business analysis, data strategy. Those are the first two that I would say. Do you know about the industry that you're working in? Do you know about the vertical that you're working in? You need to understand those to understand business and be able to provide an analysis of businesses in general. So first ask yourself, do you like the industry and vertical you work in? And if you don't, get the heck out. But if you do, how well do you know it? Maybe you start listening to some podcasts and newsletters that are specific to those places, and you start to understand how to analyze businesses in those industries and verticals that you work in or that you want to attract clients in. And then you start thinking about the problems that exist in those businesses that you can solve for. And then you implement AI, right? Data strategy. That's another one that I said. You have to have a strategy for data. Data is still the king, right? You have to understand, first of all, what good examples of data look like, how to acquire data, complying with GDPR, CCPA, all the fun stuff, and how to make the most of data. Those are the two foundational pieces that I would say that you need in order to become an AI consultant. After that, whenever you start to really think about, okay, I understand the business, I understand data, I know what good and bad data looks like and how to problem solve for those, then you're ready to start thinking about using generative AI tools to solve problems. And now you need to bring in and get better technical expertise in ethics and data security. You have to understand GDPR, data privacy laws, and how to implement AI responsibly. The third tip I would have is you need to be able to prove ROI. So learn how to connect AI applications to measurable business outcomes, like improving decision making, right? So if you're implementing a predictive model, you have to ensure that it is compliant with data regulations and demonstrating clear benefits, right? Prove the ROI. Get really, really good at condensing all of your thoughts and saying problem, solution, ROI. And along the way, what were the metrics? What are the resources that we needed? Did I hit the KPIs? That is how you prove the ROI. And in my opinion, what a lot of people that I am seeing are having a hard time doing. Second question, do I need a degree in AI to become a consultant? Having a degree is a great way to go. I went an alternative way. So again, I'm just going to speak from personal experience. I got over 30 certifications and 9 IBM data science certifications while I was getting hands-on experience. So like I said, I was using generative AI in 2020. Prior to 2020, I had no technical experience with generative AI or anything really in tech. I've always worked in tech, but I've never learned how to code. I never really learned about, natural language models or any of that stuff. But once I built a good library of use cases with generative AI tools, I was like, okay, it makes sense for me to now go back to school. And I did that through Coursera. I took the bachelor's in information technology from the University of Illinois through Coursera. And I did that by breaking the modules that I needed to take up. So essentially on Coursera, you can pay $50 a month. And if you work for a company, you can maybe make the case to make this part of your learning and development budget, because that's exactly what I did. And you can get a lot of your prerequisites for a degree out of the way, only paying $50 a month. And it's a little bit more freeing and flexible because you can do it on your own time. And you still have guidance counselors. You still have mentors. Those teachers, they offer learning lessons and one-on-one mentorships, which I would highly recommend you do, because I am a mixed learner. I cannot learn everything online and then go take a quiz. I have to have a conversation and talk it out and have kind of like a multimodal way of learning, if you will. So once I got all those prerequisites out of the way, then I applied to the University of Illinois, and I only had to take 12 credits and pay the transfer credit fee in order to get my bachelor's degree. That's what I would recommend. As far as other things that you need to know that are not in degrees, at least that I've seen, ethics and privacy. You can take certification courses, you can apply for mentorships. I highly recommend to potential consultants that are looking to go this route to take the ISC2 certification course and pass the exam. That really gives you a lot of the information you're going to need from a data security and privacy perspective. You can take so many, cloud certification courses and security admin and operations certifications, but having them all tied into one exam that you can take once and study and go back to and just have that benchmark, that's really what's going to set you apart, and in my opinion, where you should be spending the money. So do you need a degree? I don't think so. I really don't, especially if in that degree you're having to take a lot of courses that aren't necessarily applicable to how you want to implement AI. I would definitely go the route of making sure that you have a very good understanding of the data security, ethics, privacy policies, and business. That's really what I would say. So just showing and knowing how AI can streamline processes, reduce error rates, enhance customer satisfaction. Those are the things that you need, that a degree may or may not be able to get you. Also, check with the colleges, right? Look at what is involved in that course and what is involved in that degree, and if the classes match where the need is. Okay, what industries are most in demand for AI consulting? I would say the high demand sectors are probably healthcare, finance, marketing. With that being said, again, I don't think a lot of people are necessarily proving AI ROI. And I think that we're still seeing a lot of pilot projects. We're seeing a lot of basic AI implementations not necessarily being maximized to the way that could be. So with that being said, I would personally say healthcare, finance, and marketing, but there's lots more room for growth. Okay, question number 4. How do I start building a portfolio as an AI consultant? This is a great question. I would say start with your portfolio essentials. So focus on 1 to 3 real world projects where you can actually demonstrate the AI impact and prove the business value. So including for that first, 1 to 3 contracts specifically in clients, making sure that you understand the scope of work and the timeline, and you're actively listening and communicating to them, and you know that you have the tools that can solve the problems that they need solved. And you're including KPIs that are showing clear improvements in business metrics. I'll give you an example of this one. If you're building a chatbot and you are trying to get more clients with this one project that you're working on, highlight how it's improving customer support while also maintaining secure data exchanges, right? Talk about it and take it from being this super specific project you're working on and like blow it up a little bit more, right? How is this impacting this vertical, this industry, the data? And that's how you get the case studies that actually appeal to bring in more clients, as opposed to, I did this one thing for this one client, tied into the overall business. What was the impact on the business? Okay, now what type of business was this? How did you impact their bottom line? What about their top line, right? Just start getting really specific in how you're solving business problems using AI and communicate it only that way, if that makes sense. Okay, question 5. What are the best tools and platforms for an AI consultant to use? There's so many. I don't think that there is necessarily a right or wrong answer. Instead of answering this and giving you the tools that I use, because I use them for very specific purposes, I would say focus on the data security. So the clients are going to be working for, right? Choose the generative AI platforms that are going to offer really strong data encryption and comply with not only their privacy regulations, but government level and state level privacy regulations as well. And make sure that the tools you're using, you yourself can actually prove the ROI with, and in what amount of time. That's what I would say. So question number 6 is, how do I find my first client as an AI consultant? I really like to use LinkedIn. In my opinion, is the best place for B2B sales still to this day. And there, again, there's no right or wrong answer. I think it's your comfortability. It's how confident you are. It's if you have any sales experience prior to this. I was talking to someone yesterday that I've been coaching for a little while, and I was even telling him this, but going, if you're an AI consultant looking for gigs, go on LinkedIn and look at the companies hiring for AI consultants. And then they give you, right? First, that they're looking for consultants. And then second, they give you a job description of what the need is and what you're going to be doing. In my mind, I don't know why more people aren't doing it, because you're getting so much information up front that you already know how to solve their problem. And instead of just giving them your resume and cover letter, you're saying, I already know I can solve the problem that you want me to solve. Not only do I match the job description to a T, but like I can start on this now. Do you want to just skip 10 steps ahead and start letting me work with you? So that's one great way. I would also say networking events. I really love speaking and teaching, and I find a lot of my clients through those events. The fact that I can go up on a stage and speak and teach, and they already know my communication style, they know what my strengths are, they know what my success rates are. I'm making them go from attendees to warm leads because now they know me and I'm right in front of them. So I really like to continuously have a pipeline of speaking events and teaching events, because you never know who's in that audience. And I have always found somebody in that audience that is like, I could really use this help. It's just that they don't hear a lot of people talking about how they can use generative AI to solve problems that they think relate to them. So talk about it more. If you don't feel comfortable speaking and teaching yet, I encourage you to start putting together short videos. That's totally free. And again, you're doing the same thing, you're just doing it virtually. So use LinkedIn, use networking events. And if you're really comfortable and you have a sales background, or maybe if you don't, maybe if you're just really comfortable, use cold outreach. Just make sure you're complying and using ethics. Okay, question 7, how much should I charge for AI consulting services? I will be putting out a lot more announcements about this, because I think that this is more of an open-ended question and very personalized to, again, who you are, what you're bringing to the table, and the clients you're working for. So there's going to be a lot more resources coming, but in a short answer, base it on the project complexity, the industry, and the expected business outcomes. So make sure you're setting your rates by demonstrating how your service is actually going to deliver measurable results. It's more about, if someone's bringing you in, not only do you have to prove the ROI, but you have to prove that your ROI that you're bringing will be more than the cost of the consulting services that they're going to have to pay you for. That's a good place to start. Like I said, a lot more resources and communication coming around that. Okay, so question 8, how do I stay updated on AI trends and technologies? Here's where my opinions and perspective might get a little spicy. We live in such a bubble culture where everybody's talking about the trends and the technology, but not enough people are using it and providing meaningful impacts with it. So I would actually say, don't stay updated on the AI trends and technologies unless it is going to interfere with your data security, privacy, and policies, or it's going to change your workflow, because you should always have and maintain being the human in the loop. And so if a specific feature is going to be changing what that workflow looks like, and it's going to take you as the human out of the loop, then you need to understand and adjust and pay attention. Same thing with the data security and ethics, right? LinkedIn, for example, they decided to automatically toggle everyone's policy on that everybody's information was going to train their machine learning algorithms. That's not cool. You should absolutely stay on top of that trend, because that is interfering with data security and compliance policies. And you need to know about that because it's your data. And if you're working with clients who are using LinkedIn, it's their data. So things like that, that's when I would stay on top of AI trends and technologies. Otherwise, the rest is noise. And you need to be creating meaningful impact with these tools. So unsubscribe to the rest of it. There's always going to be, here's the thing, at the end of the day, it's like any other industry where every time OpenAI comes out with a new feature update, don't be surprised if you hear from Claude and Google the next day about what theirs is going to come up to, right? At a certain extent, you have to remove yourself and kind of look at the situation as it is, and it's businesses competing with each other. Doesn't mean you need to know every single thing that's going on. You just need to understand what impacts your workflow and your data security. Okay, question 9, what legal and ethical considerations should I keep in mind as an AI consultant? GDPR, CCPA, those are the big data privacy policies, bias in AI models, and security measures. How's the company going to mitigate risk? How are you going to mitigate risk? How is your client going to mitigate security risks? That also kind of ties into the part 2 of this answer, where I would say client trust. You have to build that client relationship. You have to build and maintain that trust by continuously ensuring that their data is secure and that your AI models are fair and unbiased as much as humanly possible, and that you have a process in place, you're anonymizing prompts, you're doing everything you can from a consulting perspective to make sure you're safeguarding their data. Question 10, the final question. How can I differentiate myself in the competitive AI consulting market? I love this question because there's lots and lots of consultants out there right now. But just like any other product, if you take generative AI out of it, you have to have a unique value proposition anywhere you go. That's the differentiator. So again, specializing in an industry or focusing on solving a specific business problem. That's how you have that unique value proposition. You have a very specific domain expertise that's different than me, that's different than this person, than this person, than this person. So it goes back to my answer at the beginning of this call where I said, number 1, love the industry and vertical you work in. Have the business analysis for that industry and vertical, and understand how generative AI tools can solve the business problems that exist in those places. That is your unique value proposition. That is literally your experience that not one other person has that you are utilizing to the fullest. Keep your head down, keep focused on that. Don't pay attention to what other people are doing. And then maintain high ethics and security. I have gotten quite a few contracts by having my ISC2 certification. Just knowing that I have really high standards for myself for ethics, privacy, and data security gives my clients peace of mind. And if you're going to try and break into spaces like healthcare, finance, government work, they really do care about those things. And if other industries don't necessarily understand those, they will soon, and it will be an expectation. So that's my advice. These were 10 burning questions that I keep getting asked. So I hope that this provides value. With that being said, the AI Leadership with Ashley newsletter is going to cover this on a weekly basis. So make sure you subscribe. The link is in the comments below. And let me know if you have any more questions for the next one.